I'm so close to finishing the tiller on this bow. But you gotta pay attention, because sometimes things aren't quite as they seem. You might have a good idea, but it's actually not that good of an idea. And that's what we're talking about today. The tiller looks pretty good. My brother was telling me a really good idea of how to keep these field points in, because if they don't have an O-ring, they come out. So just stick them in the dirt, get them nice and wet, and then screw them back in, and that should do the trick. This is not the best idea, and here's why. Because when you get mud in there, then it's gonna be wet. And when it's wet on metal, it'll eventually rust, making your field point and your insert unusable eventually. A better solution is to get arrow points with O-rings, or to get some Shatterproof Archery Bowstring Maker's Wax. And when you rub that on there, this is waterproof, so it not only will keep the water out, but it's sticky. That's gonna keep your field point in and snug without it coming out. But at the same time, when you need to change your arrow point, it's still really easy. I needed an extra bowstring, so I just took a piece of paracord and I put it here, and it's the exact same length as my bowstring. So let's go put this on the bow and see how it performs. All right, we've got our paracord bowstring. Let's go ahead and string this up so that we can go shoot the bow. And right there. Guys, the truth is you could shorten the paracord short enough to make a bowstring, but paracord stretches so much, it's really not a good bowstring material. I've had people ask me if this is a good substitute. I don't think it's a good substitute. If you're making a survival bow, yes, I think that's a good use for it, but it's not a sufficient bowstring. If you're getting into archery, get a high quality bowstring and it'll be well worth it. With my new paracord bowstring, I haven't been shooting so well, so I just missed a little high here, but good thing my brother gave me a tip to get an arrow out of a fence post. He said just move it back and forth like you would a T-post. So see if we can wiggle this thing out. Oh no. Hey, you got a minute?
Yeah.
Hey, I just got this bow right here for Callie. I need to change the draw length, but I don't have a bow press. You got any ideas?
Oh, I got. All right, so now you're gonna need a ratchet strap.
Ratchet straps.
You need to be safe, okay? So you're gonna get a couple welding masks, you know, some body armor. You know, make sure you're safe when, just in case the bow explodes, because that happens like half the time. You know, you're gonna duct tape them to the limbs and then just tighten it up. Because if you don't duct tape them, it'll slide down, and then the string will loosen, and then you can just change out the mods on the bow.
You're crazy. I'm keeping this box for myself. Goodness gracious.
Alright, here's 2 reasons why you shouldn't use a ratchet strap as a bow press. First reason, you might damage your bow. Second reason, the ratchet strap might explode on you and you could potentially hurt yourself and ruin your bow. So, don't use it.
I made a video a little while ago about how to trim tag ends on a bowstring, and the very first comment said, haven't watched the video through yet, but my guess is that you just burn them. Not quite. Here's why. First, if you have a tag end on a compound bowstring, you need to get a new bowstring. That is not good, that is fraying, and your bowstring will fail. I had that happen with a compound bow once. I almost sent an arrow through my hand. Dangerous, do not shoot a bowstring on a compound bow where it's frayed. Now on a traditional bow, at the limb tips, the string is weaved in, meaning that naturally there's gonna be tag ends. These tag ends are harmless and you need to trim them, but bowstring material is made up of 12 to 20 strands depending on the type of bowstring you get. And one of those strands is made up of many real fine fibers. And if you try to burn those tag ends, those fibers will burn. I've tried, it really burns them. I'm not just saying this because I heard it, but I've tried this. So the better method is just to grab a razor and cut that tag end off, or you could just leave the tag end, it doesn't matter, but don't burn them. That hack does not work. You can wax them in or cut them off, but do not burn them. So my brother was telling me there's a real easy solution to cutting down arrows. He said just to put it in any sort of vise, and then just grab a hacksaw blade and go ahead and cut it. Yeah, this seems like it's working good. Yeah, that should do the trick. One of the problems with making this video is I know most of these from experience. It can look good, but when you drop that insert in there, and after a while of use, check this out. See, the little fibers start to peel back, and it's almost impossible to get a clean cut with a hacksaw blade. And it might shoot for a little bit, but then the arrow can split, which could be dangerous for you. So don't use a hacksaw blade, get a proper arrow cutter that's made for cutting arrows. It's personally my recommendation. Bows hold a lot of force, and a mistake could be painful. I know. Well, that was a fantastic day of shooting. Actually, I'll probably shoot tomorrow, so let's leave that there. It's only supposed to get to like 103 degrees today. Should be no problem. Leaving a bow strung is a controversial topic sometimes. But in my opinion, most fiberglass bows do okay to leave it strung. Most wood bows don't do good to leave it strung. But both don't do good in a hot car. If it's over 90 degrees outside, maybe even 80, think about how hot that car is heating up to. And as a matter of fact, I've had fiberglass bows warp in a hot car, especially when they're strung because there's pressure on them. And then on wood bows, I've left a wood bow in a car that, I don't know, could have heated up to 150 degrees or something, and it wasn't strung, but even that, the lamination started to come apart. Especially with wood bows, you want to be really careful, but even fiberglass bows, don't leave it strung in a car. And that is my 7 archery hacks that I think would be best for all of us to avoid. Stay shatterproof. I'll see you on the next video.
You're gonna need a box.
A box?
Yeah, a box.
Okay, I'll go get a box.
Okay, now you're gonna need half a dozen of donuts, okay?
Half a dozen donuts.
Now you're gonna need a bowstring,
A bow?
Shatterproof hat,
A hat?
and a bag of chips too.
Bag of chips. Okay, 1 second. This one should work. How is this gonna help me with this bow?
Oh, you'll see. Okay, so now you're gonna have to tape it all up and send it to my house, okay?
Tape the box up and send it to your house?
Yeah.